So I thought I'd do a video showing the tools that I use in the workspace that I use. First thing I have here is a solder station, which is absolutely fantastic. So Yahoo 853D. It cost me £110 thereabouts, which is about $144. I've had this thing for 6-7 years, and in that time, I'm not exaggerating, I've probably soldered 100, 150, 200,000 connections with it. It's been absolutely amazing. It's got a variable temperature soldering iron connection, which is there, and I'm on the same tip from when I first got it. As I say, probably done 100, 200,000 connections with that, no problem whatsoever, on the same tip. It has hot air rework, which you can vary the temperature as well. It also has a power supply, so you can provide voltage to things. Currently that's set at 9.2, but you can change that to whatever you want. And it also has a multimeter, so you can use those connections there. So this is everything, it's all in one. Bench power supply, soldering iron, rework station, multimeter, everything you need. The other thing for when things go wrong is a desoldering station. Now this is a WEP 948D1, although to be fair, they're kind of quite a generic thing, so you can look for a Yahoo one or anything like that. This was the same kind of price, £110, $144. This thing is worth its weight in gold, because when you actually come in to desolder things, especially through hole connections, where you can't use solder wick, which is what this is an absolute godsend. That was, again, AliExpress. That was AliExpress, which I know people might say, oh, you're getting your stuff off AliExpress. But I tell you, these things are fantastic, value for money. And most of the things you buy anyway come from China, so I have no problem with things from AliExpress. This is desoldering wick. As I said before, that's probably not much good for through hole components, but it is good for surface components. That's when you need to take solder off things. That's a flux. I mean, there's a generic type of flux, really. There's lots of different flux. That helps you when you're soldering various things. This is a fiberglass brush, which if I'm working on old computers or anything that I'm restoring, then this is absolutely fantastic, because you can use it to clean contacts, clean connections, things like that. You just got to watch the fact that these little fibers come off and they can get in your skin, and they're horrible things when you get in your skin. Pair of ceramic tipped tweezers. These are useful because you can pick up components. They're non-conductive, but more importantly, they don't conduct heat. So when you're trying to hold a component, they don't soak heat away and affect your soldering. Cutters, obviously when you put a connector in or something like that and you need to get the end off, you just take those cutters and chop the end off. And this is the solder that I use. So at the moment, I've used other stuff in the past, but it's a Sealy one, which is a UK company. 4060 alloy, it is lead based. I prefer lead based stuff. 1.2 millimeter gauge. I find that absolutely perfect for everything I need to do. I've got a thing there for desoldering not desoldering, for cleaning the end of my iron. You can also use a sponge if you prefer, with water on. There's one of these things for holding components while you solder them. They're quite handy for various things. And there's a fan for taking away some of the quite noxious fumes that you get from these things. It would be nice to have a proper extraction system, but as you can see from the area I don't really have the room for that. So there you go. One thing I'll explain while I'm at it is the temperature I solder at. I've mentioned it on another video I have. It's probably a lot hotter than most people would go for. And by all means, if you want to make a comment in the box below that, oh, you're soldering too hot, you're going to melt your components, I find it's the opposite. Because I solder quite quickly, the quicker I can have the soldering iron on and off a component and get the solder on, then the less heat soak there is. Because if you've got a temperature a lot lower than that, then you're going to have to hold your soldering iron onto a component, a resistor, a chip, whatever it is, an LED, for a lot longer before that solder's going to melt. And in that time, the heat's going to travel up that component. LEDs are particularly sensitive to getting overheated. So I find that if I have a higher temperature, I'm literally spot welding. So as soon as I put the iron on, solder melts, component's done, instantly done. I can only do that because I'm fairly, without blowing my own trumpet, I'm fairly quick and fairly decent at soldering. I know how to hold the iron, I know where to put it on the component, I know where to put the solder, so I can get the solder to flow onto the component very, very quickly, which allows me to use quite a hot temperature. If you can't do that yet, you need to kind of build up your temperature as you go. I suppose it's like chefs with knives and having sharp knives and all that kind of stuff. And the very last thing I have is this little kind of solar system thing which my kids bought me, and I have that there just because it's quite cool and it keeps me sane while I'm soldering. So there you go, that's the majority of where I do my work, either restoring things, soldering things, making components or whatever. If you've got any questions, ask me in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. So just before I go, if you've enjoyed this video, or if you've enjoyed any of the other videos that I've done, the R2D2 things that I do, then if you consider giving me a like, that'd be really nice. If you want to subscribe to the channel, that'd be even better, because I am hoping soon to be doing more videos, probably on the lines of some retro computers repairs and upgrades and modifications. I'm just waiting for some equipment to come so I can produce some better filming footage by using various stands and things like that. Once that arrives, I will be doing a lot more footage. So if you consider liking and subscribing, it costs you nothing. That'd be really helpful. Thank you.